There you are. You saw the experiment through to the end, yes? The data hasn't arrived yet, so please do tell. Was it as beautiful as I imagined? Any inklings to the result? Or perhaps I oughtn't have recloistered myself till after the experiment concluded, hmm? Well, don't just stand there. Tell me everything. What? Are you all right? Did you hit your head coming up here? I mean, what is that supposed to mean? It couldn't... Wait. Let's start from the beginning. Step me through your understanding of what's gone awry. Really? In what way? Did Seer Bujold fail to explain? Using her theorem, we can map the position and path of every atom in a simulated universe, then extrapolate that to solve the equation. This was just a start. Such models typically make an enormous amount of errors at first. All quite expected, an anticipated setback, nothing more. It simply needs to be revised and refined. You certainly seem to be making a lot out of this, though, one must say. Now, I'm starting to believe you're just needlessly fretting. Is this nerves? I'm sorry, I don't mean to be dismissive. Look, there may be some validity to some of your points, yes. But we'll improve. We will continue to stride forward. There's absolutely no need for all this doom and gloom. Is one of you a seer now? Because I put considerable more stock in the prognostications of the Order's prime mathematicians than I do any old run-of-the-mill soothsayer. Now, is that all? Because I think I've had enough of all this. Everything we've done here is built off Seer Bujold's research, which is quite brilliant. You've resorted to lying just to be hurtful. I've seen it before, and I understand you must be in pain, so I will neither take offense nor give that statement a second thought. Ah, the experiment data just arrived in my terminal. Allow me to eyeball it a moment. Perhaps there's something here to help prove or disprove any of what you've been saying. There was notable variance to the input data, to an extent suggesting external dithering occurred. I hate to use the word sabotage, but disruptive intent seems clearly discernible. I strongly doubt there's much more to say. I fear this was a waste of valuable time.
If I may, I have a point I'd like to add. There's a critical flaw in Sir Bujold's approach I think best illustrated by this English phrase. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. I much appreciate this jest. Very simple, yet clever. Because in English, the word like can mean similar to or I prefer. And flies can be to soar, or plural of the insect. Through this perspective, it functions, makes sense, is humorous even. But in another language where words' meanings differ slightly, it does not. The framework we interpret the statement from changes, thus rendering it uninterpretable. False. Bujold's method of shortcutting the universal equation is much the same.
It lacks context. When you extrapolate the data from the mini-universe to the larger one, the information itself may scale correctly, but fail to interrelate. That is an interesting thought puzzle, as humorous as it is inapplicable. Are we done here? Let's say yes.
We tried. Our fallback plan's our only option now. Head for the hatch.
What was that? You're starting to worry me. What do you intend to do?
During our recent experiment in test chamber beta, we failed to recognize that ventilation systems had been left connected to test chamber alpha. As you know, it had been recently refurbished as an enclosure for Ankaris Brun. She gave her life for science. Well, it's true that we found the related research deeply flawed, but she gave her life for the pursuit of science. As the experiment was a colossal failure, I, as senior scientist remaining, have determined what...
I understand now why they say never meet your heroes, Intercessor Delgado. You've truly been an enormous disappointment. A key experiment fails and Ankaris Brun falls prey to an unfortunate accident right after you and your consort arrive. And we are all to believe these events are unrelated?
That's circumstantial and more than a mite bit paranoid. I expect better from an Order scientician. Even one from the Department of Applied Scientism.
Don't think I don't see your handprints all over this, Delgado. Don't try to lay the responsibility for this on me. I'm not buying it. The Ankaris, poor trusting soul that she was, may have believed you were here in good faith, but I don't. You're looking more and more like enemies to me. Oh, listen to you. You could almost pass for a member of the Order. Yet, the greater facts of this matter remain unevinced. And I remain unconvinced. Are you done? I know you're to blame. I just wanted to see how far you were gonna take this. I can't believe Anchor's Brunn fell for any of it. Fellow exemplars of the Order, commence hostilities!
Standing by to stupefy. Combatant scan. Try to limit further damage, Commander. I have a fix on their weaknesses.
Emergency protocol syringes found.
Adversary vulnerabilities identified. Target analyzed. Lay down fire. Mobilizing.
Statistical probability.
Enemy in vicinity. Investigating hostile intentions.
Providing a host.
Check your scopes for combatant analysis. Adversary vulnerabilities identified.
Ready to assist with agent's help.
Combatant scan.
Fortifying teammate vitals.
I have a fix on their weaknesses. Check your scopes for combatant analysis. Target analyzed. Lay down fire. Stun weapon ready, Commander. Combatant scan.
Temperature falling.
Look who it is. The legendary former head intercessor of the Order. Another mission successfully completed. Made it through all that without a scratch, hmm? Glad to see. Say, I know this was difficult and rather a mess, but you listened. You tried to do right before you did what you must. I appreciate it, the attempt. No matter how that may sound.
The credit or blame belongs to the commander here. It was their decision, ultimately.
You forget I know you. You always thought you knew better. No one could ever convince you of anything. Before, that is. Good to see. Maybe you are facing yourself.
There are a few things I'm still not used to saying. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Please. And thank you. But thank you, Anais.
At any rate, I'm off. You all take care now. Marisol, don't be too enigmatic or anything. Try. Before I forget. Meant to give you this earlier.
Oh, thank you, Anais. Goodbye. Oh, Brunn obviously murdered her. Thought you knew that. Perhaps it was an accident. Perhaps she simply wanted to knock Chow unconscious so she could sneak away. Or not. Indefinite immurement isn't for everyone. Even the finest minds may crack under the strain. But her canned, feigned concern about Chow, how she kept changing the subject, both belied an underlying sense of guilt to me. Oh, not really. Not yet, at any rate. Everything's a bit raw right now. But suppose I will be. Thank you, dear. Commander, it's customary to evaluate results after a mission of reasonable significance. I've had some time to cogitate over what occurred at Point Obviation. Some parts don't sit right with me still. Wonder if you and I might talk it through. A bit, yes. With the work I used to do, I'm no stranger to guilt and regret. Midway into my requisite sleep cycle is when it usually plagues me the most. We could have done better by Anchoress Brunn. If we'd properly convinced her to abandon the research, I'd doubtlessly still lament duping her, but she'd be alive. And yet, such actions were par for the course for me in the past. When my remorse for Brunn rears its head, it will need to get in line. Yes, Southworth was complicit. And now she's dead. I hope so, at least. According to Anais, we could have reduced the likelihood of that occurring by completing the brain-off. It's not anywhere near zero, but it's unlikely. She seemed pleased that we at least attempted to address her concerns, so I've changed, apparently. Thanks to you. No. There's plenty of credit and blame to go around. It's been a while since anyone gave me a good talking to like Anais did. And I'll admit your influence has been rather positive. I'm pleased with the path I'm on now. I didn't think this is what the plan had in store for me. I've been facing myself with the same zeal I face my enemies. With tidier results. appreciate you taking the time to talk it over, Commander.
If it isn't my favorite collaborator. I thought I said we shouldn't be seen together. You did sharpen my pencil, so I suppose sharpening yours is only fair. I'll put in a word with my associates to pass along to whatever Protectorate forces are on site to expect you. It's no guarantee, but at least they won't fire upon you on site. In exchange for my help, however, I want you to bring the data back here so that I can make a copy of it. Before you hand it over to the Order, to be clear. Do we have an accord? You've no doubt heard the phrase, knowledge is power. Sub Rosa benefits from all the knowledge it can acquire. I can tell you no more than that. And now you'll help me out more. So sweet of you, really. We do work well together, don't we? Return here when you have the data. I'll be waiting.
Mass quantities of organic decomposition detected. Area may be hazardous to living life forms. Proceed with caution.
Gary? Son of a bitch, don't get any closer to it. You void-brained idiot, put down the bottle and stop doing stupid shit. Get away from there.
Quit your worrying. Ain't nothing gonna happen.
Initiating solemn farewell. Goodbye, unnamed trooper. You may or may not be missed by family you may or may not possess.
Good fortune! Our technician— Halt there. You match the description of the technician we have been vigilantly awaiting, but as they say, assumptions made are mistakes readied. Present yourself, so that I may take the measure of you. What? Spare me your technical argot and hop to it then!
But going any faster grossly increases the threat of collapse. Burying us beneath the snow benefits no one.
So long as we are operating within the statistics. Have you at least determined the cause of the
People are gonna start to talk. Aren't you reliable? I just need one moment to copy the data. There, all done. Thank you ever so much. Was there anything else you wish to discuss?
I look forward to the reclamation of the Hyperion web. Hopefully you shall facilitate that. Now, how might we be of use to one another? Yes! Excellent! Take that, reductionists! Your horrid little surveillance devices shall finally be used for what their purpose should have been! Don't tell anyone about that outburst, please. Here's something to keep you quiet. Not by a factor of thousands. You'll have to tell me about your scholastic experiences someday, colleague. I've informed the presiding bishop you're coming to speak with her. She can be found in the room off the main stairwell. I'm sure I don't need to say this. But if you even think about bringing harm to Ruth, I shall know. Be on your very, very best behavior.
Ah, you've made such progress moving us toward an Order Anti's Choice Alliance. Everything seems to be going according to the plan so far. But we approach a critical juncture. When you go in to speak with the presiding bishop, please raise the issue with her. I assure you this is the correct thing to do. For yourself, for us, for Arcadia. If you continue working for the Order alone, it will likely burn any possible bridge with Auntie's choice. So this is our last and only chance. Farewell. I would say good luck, but I put no stock in chance, only probability. May the plan favor us against long odds.
The Order has always proclaimed patience as a virtue, but I am pleased my waiting is finally at its endpoint. For so long, you have only existed as numerical values on a chart. A bright star in a constellation of possibilities, as it were. Now with your arrival, the Order nears the totality of its goals, provided you are willing to stay aligned with our cause. As I told you in my message, a splinter group was responsible for recruiting your fellow agent and tasking her to perpetrate that heresy. The conviction of those radicals was such that they elected to perish from exposure to Cloister's wilderness to avoid fouling their predictions and my interference. Their interpretation of the data was at odds with mine. I forbade them taking action, to no avail, obviously. I disavowed their actions then, as I do now. A wise leader is always open to constructive criticism. Now then, I gather you already know who I am, but science has shown that good manners strengthen developing relationships by 5.3%. So, allow me to introduce myself. I am Ruth Bassar, third presiding bishop of the Order of the Ascendant, supreme calculator, and, plan willing, the architect of Arcadia's prosperous future. I admit, when I sent my initial message, I did not exactly know who its recipient would be. But I trusted the plan, and lo and behold, it provided you as the solution. Your recent exploits at Greater Tranquility Station have certainly made for compelling reading material. Confronting an assassin, and thereby sparing the delegates' lives before the rift inexplicably destroyed the station? Such a commendable effort is worthy of acknowledgement. Yes, by all reports it was. But the plan evidently has greater outcomes prepared for Vicar Levin. He is, at that. I consider him a close personal friend, and I cannot say that about many. However, there's something of even greater import we must discuss. I have received numerous reports indicating the archive has been wrested away from the Protectorate by a single, rather determined rogue factor. Let us sidestep any coyness. I know the Calcaduceus is in your possession. The only remaining unknown is whether you intend to hand it over peacefully. Then I will extract the Calcaduceus through less pleasant methods. So amenable. Perhaps there is hope for continuing our working relationship after all. I've heard the Archive's priority set has been altered by its occupiers. I suppose we shall see if that remains the case. More senseless work to be done. It is my hope that such archaic methods of communicating with the Archive will soon not be necessary. I am only lacking the resources to make my plan a reality. That may be, but there is no denying that human language is limiting, inefficient, and prone to miscommunication. By forcing the Archive to speak with us through a personality-based priority set, we are throttling the speed at which we may understand the archive, and it us. Yes, but that may not be eternally true. While the archive is an infinitely complex machine, an equally complex apparatus has been designed which allows one to interact with it directly. Brain-to-logic assembly, as it were. Unfortunately, this apparatus exacts a rather tremendous cost on the wearer. A certain panacea is needed to survive it, but I lack the chemicals to finish its manufacture. A fine deduction. We may make a proper scientician out of you yet. A plant on Praetor under Auntie's choice control has the chemicals I need for this new treatment. Infiltrate the plant and retrieve them, by whatever means necessary. There should be a maintenance tunnel on the lowest level of the plant, which lets out near the sewage pool. You may be able to sneak inside from there without drawing notice. The front entrance is likely to have security, so I would avoid that route entirely. Unless you feel confident in your skills of persuasion, or are not opposed to being shot at. Yes, I predicted you would. Oh, the Laureate Council simply draws a name out of a hat. No? Go figure. In reality, I was recommended for my position by the preceding bishop. Paired with my skills as a seer, I was the natural choice when it came time for the council to vote. Thank you for that charitable assessment. My predecessor, presiding Bishop Orlo, and I had a close working relationship. He knew I possessed the skills and temperament for the role. I counted him a friend. Orlo shared with me his doubts about the Order's partnership with the Protectorate, the compromises made. He had many such regrets at the end of his life. Likely not. But it is the responsibility of every student to surpass their mentor in understanding and sentiment. And I can reliably assert that I have done that. Call it proof of concept. Laplace's garden is more than its aesthetic. It offers a vision of a future free from the despotic rule of narrow-minded jingoists, where the fruit of the plan can finally ripen. It saddens me to see the garden so despoiled by our wartime presence. But with the loss of Spirton, necessity dictated we quarter here in the interim. By themselves, very little. Once combined with other agents, a great deal of different effects can be achieved. If all goes according to plan, I should be able to create a stupefacient of sorts that will ease the discomfort of wearing the apparatus needed to communicate with the archive. Yes, indeed. May you achieve progress in accordance with the plan.
Failed to cite her work completely. I worked with presiding Bishop Orlo, you know. Now there was a serious scientician.
I believe our group's combined efforts are in direct accordance with the plan.
Oh no, dear.
Look at me with my extra bathroom break. Can't complain about your contract if you don't negotiate.
Standing by with life support.
Back and scan.
Proceeding to attack. Hostile in proximity.
Why choose just any choice when you could choose Auntie's choice?
resorting to violence. Check your scope for combatant analysis. Standing by to stupefy. Target analyzed. Lay down fire. I have a fix on their weaknesses. Adversary vulnerabilities identified.
They're trying to fight me again.
Check your scope for combatant analysis. Purple berry.
Health benefits available here.
Adversary vulnerabilities identified.
From bottom.
Fix on their weaknesses.
How come I didn't...
Combatant scanned.
Stealth weapons at the ready. Moving to investigate. Following my instincts.
Ain't paying me enough to pick up after these dim bulbs. Just the other day I had to warn one of them not to plumb an outlet with their own finger. Asked them why, and they just replied, it looked a little loose. Oh, these scientist types might be bright, but they've got no practical smarts. Marvin, that puddle ain't water. No, that don't mean touch it to find out what it is.
all that going on out there? These conditions are not optimal for market testing. All right, then that's an hour since ingestion. Now, tell me, how do you feel? And remember, this is for user research, so please be honest.
Readying assault protocols.
presiding bishop wanted her stupefying serum. We acquired it. I see no reason to keep her waiting.
Not this again. How many times must we tread this ground, Leslie? I have heard your thesis, and I remain unconvinced by it. Enough. I am not interested in furthering this debate, especially before an audience. Laureate Beckett and I are having a minor academic dispute. Nothing that should concern you. The agent knows what is pertinent for them to know. All in service to a far greater goal. I cannot be distracted by the agony of wearing the binary lector during my interactions with the Archive. I did not think to have both of you aligned against me. Fine. In the spirit of open discourse, speak your mind, and I will listen, with minimal prejudice. Laureate Beckett is too close to the problem. We have been friends a very long time, and he has never been amenable to change. I am weary of this debate. But if you both feel so powerfully that I am making a mistake, perhaps you are right. Now is not the time for such risky maneuvers. Keep the chemicals. There is another matter that must be resolved as soon as possible. Concerning the Hyperion reticulum. We studied the data you brought back from the crashed satellite, and we now have a way to reorient the satellites en masse from a Protectorate installation, Oris Listening Post. Turning the entirety of the reticulum toward deep space will accelerate our understanding of the universe, and ideally, lead us to stronger conclusions regarding how to stop the rifts. You sound like Laureate Craft. Our Artificer Laureate believes dedicating some of the satellites to surveillance could address immediate security concerns. For those susceptible to the allure of power, perhaps, the Order is immune to such temptations, but nevertheless, the distinction between the Order and the Protectorate is already blurry for many Arcadians, without us adopting tactics that could be perceived as too extreme. Then I look forward to hearing your next report. May your actions further the plan.
Let's pinpoint what you and I can accomplish for the Order. Yes, as I mentioned to her, I understand we intend to reorient the web for scientific purposes alone. But we can still do that and aid our war effort. There are a multitude of satellites. Most, almost all, can be used to collect information on the equation. But just a few turned within Arcadia will help us in the near future. The Order thrives on information. The more we have, the more effectively we can lead. This has been proven scientifically to be true. I scarcely take time to engage in idle conversation, but perhaps this will be illuminating in some fashion. Who told you about that? Were there an experiment being conducted here involving any kind of medicament? Confirming its existence would compromise it. The theoretical existence or non-existence of Order experiments are strictly within the Order's purview. It doesn't concern you. You are giving me cranial neuralgia. If you really want to bother someone about this, bother Beckett. Maybe he'll predict your arrival. Specifically, a phlogistinated firearm, capable of tunneling through reinforced armor. Broadly, weaponry, research, anything capable of giving our exemplars an edge. Are you deriding me, or do you honestly believe that? So many exemplars have died since this war began. So many under my leadership, but that's not your point, I understand. I wish I had more time to devote to my tinkering, but the war takes precedence. I have nothing but respect for Ruth. Without her guidance, the Order may never have found the strength to dissolve its protectorate bonds. If I had to dig for the smallest critique, I'd note that she shoulders too much. If she collapses beneath the strain, the Order will be rudderless. This we cannot afford. I generally prefer to keep discussions relevant.
Alert! Unsanctioned individual detected in immediate vicinity. Present credentials. Status: not convinced. Activating alarm. Please allow yourself to die quietly.
Give the word and I'll take care of him, Commander. Who's next?
Exploring Council Arbiter Joaquin. The situation requires a judicious hand, and given what's transpiring, I would prefer Arbiters, not Sentinels, resolve the matter. It began as a simple call for adjudication. 3 subjects had managed, through a supposed cavalcade of negligence, to let a half-ton worth of crabble meat go bad. Ultimately...
Troublemaker approaching.
Emergency protocols ready.
All rightly appreciate our perfect life of contentment and plenty. No sign of subversive. Focusing sensors. Rectification required. Sweeping the area. Boldly striving to pinpoint determination. Unidentified local fauna. Security
Confronting
disrupted.
threat.
Mobility interrupted. Mobility interrupted.
Arbiter Weiss, wonderful to see you again. Have you decided that I have failed the Protectorate? Am I in need of mental refreshment or corporal punishment? Please, this guilt has left me in such agony.
Entering a confrontational state.
Guards, locked and loaded. Just give the space.
Commencing combat-related activities. Confronting threat.
Ready to waste it. On your command. Hit the broadside of a freighter. Over here! A hole in the head!
Engaging hostile life forms. This unit advises healing. Now.